Well, we're just getting set here in Marlborough, Massachusetts, as the players have just taken the ice. We'll have a bit of an extended warm-up before we do our intro and preview of the game. Sit tight. Players out on the ice getting warm here on a cold day outside Boston. Well, hello and welcome on into the New England Sports Center in the 33rd Annual Central Massachusetts Winter Classic in Marlborough, Massachusetts. Bienvenue et bonjour nos téléspectateurs du Québec. This morning, we've got some compelling lunch break hockey for you as the New York City Raiders take on the Papineau neighbors, Voisin de Papineau, here in Massachusetts. VP from Buckingham, Quebec enters today's game as the clear leaders of their home conference, having gone 16-2-1 in league play so far this year. 2 weekends ago, VP split their two games, winning 9-2 over Wolves Hills and losing 5-1 to the Sailboats Almer. In the 7 games before that weekend, the neighbors won 6 and tied 1. A close watch of their recent game against Wolves Hills revealed a disciplined team with excellent passing, masterful zone entries, and a stout power play. The Raiders come in today's game on the heels of a long layoff, but 2 weekends ago, the Raiders had some success as they came back to beat a feisty Long Island Lightning team Long Beach Lightning team at City Ice Pavilion by a score of 5-2, and then went out to the mall in West Nyack, New York, tying the Palisades Predators 4-4. The Raiders will be down a few skaters today due to injury and the fact that it's currently winter break for schools in New York City. So short shifts, attention to detail, and staying out of the box will be paramount this morning for the team from Long Island City. A programming note for you, the Raiders will be back in action tonight at 7:40 p.m. as they face the Salisbury Redhawks, and then again tomorrow, Saturday at 4:50 p.m., the Raiders will face off against the Adirondack Thunder. Based on the results of those 3 games, the Raiders then may qualify for the tournament playoffs to be held on Sunday. We'll keep you updated as soon as we know more on which teams have qualified for the playoffs. But head on over to Midnight Sports and the Instagram page for all the up-to-date listings, and turn on notifications on Midnight Sports' YouTube channel so you can catch all the action from the comfort of your office, home, or wherever else you may be. But maintenant, it's Voisin de Papineau against the New York City Raiders. Puck drop for period 1 coming up next right here on Midnight Sports. Well, looking out on the rink, looks like it'll be Speaker taking the cage this morning to take on the team from Quebec. And the Raiders will be in their home whites. Here we, unfortunately, from our vantage point, do not have a view of the scoreboard, so go ahead and keep those stopwatches handy at home as we get set to roll. We're not going to know how much time is left in each period until that buzzer sounds. Do our best to keep an accurate score. It'll be Vigliotti, Kolemba, Aiden Tanoff, And a center to be named later to take this opening draw. Looks like it'll be Fauci at the dot at center ice. Players get set here at the boards with their sticks getting pumped up for this game. Well, hard to know whether it's colder in the rink or outside today as we get ready for puck drop in period one. Little snow on the way in. A wonderful vantage point, though, here, other than the scoreboard issues. Goalies checked, scorer checked, and we're off. It's puck drop. Papineau wins it back into their own zone. The Raiders will look to take over there. Fauci on the forecheck as the puck hits the near offensive corner for the Raiders, and then comes right in front of the camera well to the blue line. Jackson Clemma does well to keep that in. Tries to shovel it farther. Hits a player in blue, and it comes out of the zone there. The Raiders will have to wait momentarily as all their forwards clear. They do. Vigliotti tries to pour it back in. He does. Keeps it on his stick. He's at the far half wall. Sends a pass into the slot. Can't connect. And Papineau will take over now. They work it up to the near point, does Papineau. And out of the zone as Aiden retreats back into his defensive zone. Papineau in now into the offensive zone. Shouldered there by Aiden in the near defensive corner. Vigliotti tries to shepherd that puck out of the zone. He finds Fauci at the half wall. Fauci can't quite get the puck far enough, though, and now Papineau turns into the slot. Rolling puck there off the stick of Aiden. Papineau player without a stick. They'll try and curl around the cage on the wraparound. Puck just stopped there by Speaker's leg pad, and Fauci will take over in the far corner and work that up to Kalemba. Kalemba gets the puck, looks for Vigliotti to dump that puck into the offensive zone. He does, and now the Raiders will get a change as they dump that puck deep. Puck hits the near defensive corner here for Papineau. They'll go behind their own net, do the neighbors, and they break out with a pass at their own blue line. Can't handle it there as Aiden's still on the ice. Shepherds that puck into his own zone, and he'll have to pick it up there at the end wall. Men in blue all over him, looking for a pass to the slot. Instead, work it up to the far point. Shot comes in. Oh, it goes wide of the cage. And the Raiders will have to try and pick it up in the near corner. Raiders fighting for the puck there. They're able to chip it out of the zone. Arm raised, though. We should get an icing call here as it crosses the end line. It does. And so we'll have our first stoppage in play here in the first period. It's going to be a defensive zone draw coming up. Should be two Speakers left. Some new skaters out there on the ice now for the Raiders. It's Marchuka, Tanoff, Petrosinelli, Steinfink, and it looks like Meyerowicz. It's going to be a near dot defensive zone drop here for the Raiders as these teams feel each other out. Papineau looks to win that faceoff back to the point. It sits at the dot momentarily, shepherded farther now by them, farther into the zone, that is. They curl behind the offensive net, does Papineau. They have the puck. They're curling into the slot there, trying to get on the backhand. Skate gets in the way. Nice work by Tanoff as he's able to get that puck safely to the far half wall. Now Papineau takes over there. Puck sits there. It's jammed farther by Steinfink. Papineau sits on the puck momentarily. Meyerowicz all over his man. Rolling puck comes in the slot, misses all sticks. Nice stick lift there. The last second in the slot by the Raiders defenders. Raiders now need to work this puck out of the zone. Marchuka tries to chip it past his man. Can't quite beat him at the point. Puck now sits at the near half wall still. It's kicked farther, taken over by Papineau. And then a rolling puck comes to Meyerowicz, who's able to flick that on the backhand out of the zone. Papineau will take over. They'll try and reset at their own bench. They hit a skater in front, but because he didn't play with a stick, no too many men call coming. Tanoff able to chip that farther out of the zone, and it comes to a Papineau player there. Chipped on again by Meyerowicz into the offensive zone, but without possession. Now it's going to be Papineau trying to collect the puck at the far half wall. They do. They're going to break out of their defensive zone. They dance around Vigliotti there. We have an arm raise for a delayed penalty as the Papineau goalie goes to the net. 6 skaters on the ice for the men in blue. They're there. They send a pass into the slot. A diving Aiden and a kicking Speaker able to fight that puck out of the zone, but they haven't touched up yet, have the Raiders. Papineau breaks right back in. Offside, though, and so we'll get a stoppage in play as the Raiders will go down a man here early on in the first. Looks to be just under 10 minutes left to go here in the first period. Raiders to the box. And so, 5-on-4 upcoming for Papineau and a defensive zone draw for the Raiders. Papineau players voicing their approval at the call. It's going to be a drop to Speaker's left at the near dot. It'll be Samosi out there with Aiden, Vigliotti, and looks to be Steinfink behind him. Puck dropped, won by Papineau up to the near point, then dumped in deeper to the near half wall. It's sent all the way to open ice. They're there, they shoot, they score. Just like that, Papineau on the board. It's a power play goal for them. And it's 1-0 to the team from Quebec. Well, they brought their own horn. did the team from Canada, and they score on the power play there. So just over 6 minutes into this game, Papineau draws first blood, and the ensuing face-off is going to be Fauci, Kushlevsky, Kalemba, Steinfink, and Tanoff. Referee just going over the score sheet here. Scorer saying not sure who scored that goal, so just getting onto the score sheet now. The scorer of the goal and the second official has shown up to this game, so time enough to get him involved here too. Bit of a delay as the teams get some advice from the parents that ring the rink here. High in the catwalks, it's Fauci winning that back to Tanoff. Tanoff at his own blue line, works it farther into the neutral zone. Now Papineau gains possession in the neutral zone. They're able to get past into the offensive zone there. Slapper comes in, just gobbled up by Speaker. We got a whistle, even as the puck rolled off him at the last second. It was after the whistle. And so it's going to be a defensive zone draw here for the Raiders. It's Fauci at the near dot. He's got Tanoff to his left, Kushlevsky to his right, Steinfink and Kalemba stacked up there. Face-off, escapes the zone. Now it's Kushlevsky pouring forward into the offensive zone. He's got it there. He's bodied off by his man. No call coming. And Kushlevsky passes that over toward Kalemba. A little too hot to handle. Papineau will break out of their defensive zone. They're through the neutral zone is Papineau into the offensive zone, but they blow its higher there. Puck comes off a stick, and it comes to Steinfink, and then it's guided all the way to the end board. Steinfink, though, picks up the puck again, gets it on the forehand, looks to chip that up and over out of the zone. Doesn't do it on the first try, but he gets a second bite at the apple and works that into the neutral zone. Now the puck comes to Kushlevsky, gains the line and dumps in. He'll go for a line change. Puck racked all the way around in front of the Zamboni doors. Kalemba over there at the far corner, working hard to get possession of this puck. Aiden pinches in, kicks the puck farther, and the puck does stay in the offensive zone for the Raiders. Now it's Kalemba trying to get hold of that puck. Instead, men in blue beat him to it. The puck comes all the way over to the near corner here, and then it's sent right back down in, and it's Marchuka on the ice at the far corner, trying to work that puck out of the Zamboni doors. Kalemba with him. Papineau emerges with it out of the defensive zone. Papineau through the neutral zone. Now it's a 2-on-3 for them with a player streaking toward the slot. Puck's going to come all the way in on Speaker. He just sticks it aside to the end wall, and the Raiders bump that puck to the near half wall. Just not out yet. Puck comes to the near point. Shot comes in on Speaker. He kicks that one aside. Tanoff will rack that over to the weak side, and Meyerowicz will fire in on that puck. Papineau beats him to the puck. Aiden on it now in the corner there. Takes a sandwich hit from the men in blue. It's chipped up and over Speaker's shoulder there, and that's another Papineau goal. Well, Papineau scores there as they had that puck in deep, and they were able to just shovel it over Speaker's shoulder. And so, still in the first period here. Looks to be about 7 minutes left to go here in the first. It's Papineau 2, Raiders nothing. Kushlevsky now tries to work that puck right in front of the scorer's table. Papineau emerges with it again. They go into the offensive zone, does Papineau. Steinfink all over his man in the far corner. Puck sits in the far corner. Papineau dances, looking for a pass to the slot. They're on the opposite side of the net now is Papineau, all the way into the near corner, trying to get to the near circle. They kick it into the slot. Look out. Shot comes up and out. Looks like maybe the net was off its post as that shot went over the cage anyway, so we get a stoppage in play. Should be a defensive zone draw coming up here for the Raiders. Unclear whether that was a wily veteran move to kick the net off its moorings, or it just was happenstance. In any event, we play on. Puck came out of the zone there, and so we should get an offside call. And we do. This faceoff's going to come outside the Raiders' defensive zone. Same skaters will stay out there. It's Vigliotti, Samosi, Kushlevsky, Steinfink, and Aiden. Puck's dropped. One by Samosi, sits at the blue line. Now Papineau works that puck into the offensive zone. Puck rolls in on Speaker. He's able to just put a big mid on it, and we'll get another defensive zone draw coming up here for the Raiders. Looks to be just over 6 minutes left to go here in the first period. Raiders will get some new skaters out there. It's Marchuka, Gosler, Petrusinelli, Tanoff, and Meyerowicz. Puck worked up to the near point. Shot goes wide of the cage. Tanoff turns to pick it up. Tanoff now chips that puck up and out of the zone. Should get an armed raise here for icing as that puck crosses the end line. We do, so it's going to be another defensive zone draw here for the Raiders. Still over 6 minutes left to play in the first. Early on, it's been a lot of Papineau in the offensive zone. The Raiders pushing to try and hit a long blue line to blue line pass here and maybe break this one open and hope the goals will flow afterward. It's Marchuka winning that faceoff forward. Papineau takes over possession in the offensive zone. They're at the far half wall. Puck goes into the far corner, and now it's Meyerowicz bodying his man. Shot goes wide of the cage. Papineau looks to take over again in the near corner. They work that puck deeper to the near corner. Pass comes through the slot, doesn't hit a stick, but it's kept alive momentarily by Papineau until Marchuka emerges with it at the blue line. And then 4 Papineau players surround him, unable to get through the neutral zone. Papineau right back into the offensive zone. They're on the puck there, pushed farther. Puck comes off a stick at the end boards. Papineau still looking for a pass into the slot. It's Papineau, can't find a player at the blue line, and Meyerowicz will chip that farther through the neutral zone into the offensive zone, but without possession. Raiders in on the forecheck. Papineau has the puck at the far corner. Still with the puck now is Papineau, and they work that puck up into the neutral zone. Still with possession, trying to work it deeper. Instead, Petrosinelli emerges with it, comes off a skate, and Marchuka comes away with it into the offensive zone. Marchuka on the puck, sends a pass into the slot. It's cut out by Papineau before it hits the slot, and no shot coming. It's Papineau now working that puck all the way around to the near side. They skate that puck out of their defensive zone, does Papineau. They're in the neutral zone now into the offensive zone. They're surrounded by Raiders trying to get a shot off. They send a backhand no-look shot in on Speaker. He makes the save. The puck rolls over to the near corner. Aiden takes a hit to work that over to the weak side. Puck rolling now at the blue line. Papineau collects it there, dumps it right back into the zone, but too soon as not all of their forwards had cleared. So Papineau offside with over 4 minutes left to play here in the first period. Raiders trying to get a shot on goal here, trying to get back into this game. It's Valsi at the dot. He wins that faceoff into his defensive zone. Gosser now fires in on that shot. He's at the near half wall is Gosser. Gosser on the puck there. He's bodied off, and Papineau will take over behind the cage. Papineau looking to get that out front. They do. No shot coming, though, as Fauci's able to get that puck and work it over toward Kalemba. Kalemba on the puck now. Kalemba through the neutral zone, all the way into the offensive zone. Looking for a pass into the slot. Rolling puck there. Glove down initially by the Papineau goaltender and then cleared by the Papineau defenders. They're back through the neutral zone. It's a 3-on-3 for Papineau developing. They dance around one man, then two. They're in on Speaker. He makes the save there, and now he's got to get to the other post. Puck comes into the slot. Now the high slot, guided farther by Papineau, but out of the zone. They'll have to collect. Kalemba fires in on it. Puck does come back into the offensive zone for Papineau. Judged to be onside. It's a 3-on-1 developing. They go high on Speaker. Takes it off the shoulder. And we play on here. Papineau with the puck, looking for that pass into the slot again. A curling Tanoff finds it in the low slot, works it over for Kalemba. Kalemba picks up the puck there, jams it farther through the neutral zone. And Papineau will take over in their own end. It's Papineau behind their net. They rack it around to the near half wall. Puck sits there momentarily, and then it's sent farther. And Bigliotti all over his man at the end boards. Papineau bodying him there. Some heavy hits there as Papineau pushes the Raiders players off the puck. Through the neutral zone now comes Papineau. They're gummed up there momentarily as that puck's sent right back down, but it'll be an icing as the Raiders had not gained the line. So a defensive zone draw coming up for the men in white. Well, looks to be just over. No, maybe exactly. 3.5 minutes left to go here in the first. And the Raiders looking to make a push here. Try and get back in this game. Early days yet. Plenty of time to get on the board here for the Long Island City team as the referee adjusts the net a little bit here. Keeps coming off that right stanchion. And so with a water bottle, we'll loosen up the ice just a bit so that the pegs within the stanchion dig in a little bit deeper to that ice. All right, looks like we're set. Equipment problem solved for the iron pipe. And the puck's dropped. Marchuka wins that forward, comes up to the near point. Shot comes in, goes well high of the cage, hits the netting. We should get a whistle. We do. And we're going to do it all over again, but this time outside the zone as the Papineau shot went high over the glass. Same 5 skaters will stay out there for the Raiders. It's Samosi, Marchuka, Koshlewski, Steinfink, and Aiden. Papineau wins that faceoff, tries to dump in, hits Koshlewski. Puck now rolls to Steinfink. Papineau, though, keeps the puck in the zone. Shot comes in, and they beat Speaker. Low glove side, and that's a Papineau goal. Well, it's going to be an early morning for Speaker as he's getting pulled here. 3 goals in the first period. He'll come off the ice. Bricker will go on. Coach Marchuka looking to shake things up here for the Raiders as Papineau scores their 3rd in the first. Speaker will get the head pat from Coach Marchuka. An explanation as to why he's off the ice. And so we play on. Raiders win that faceoff into the offensive zone, but without possession, Papineau will now have a breakaway in on Bricker. They're in the offensive zone. They try and backhand it. The shot goes wide of the cage. That rolling puck not quite corralled by Bricker. So now the puck comes into the slot. Petrosinelli bodies his man off the puck. And at the far corner, Marchuka will look to take over. It's Marchuka wrapping that puck around, not out of the zone just yet. He'll have another bite here at the end boards. He works that over toward Meyerowicz. Meyerowicz tries to send that farther. Papineau will take over in the slot. It's Papineau blowing a tire in the slot. And now the Raiders will try and work that puck up and out of the zone. They do into the neutral zone. Shots fired off Meyerowicz there, and Marchuka picks it up, streaking into the zone. Can't pull the trigger as the puck rolled just behind him, and Papineau breaks out the other way. It's a 1-on-2 for Papineau. They dangle. They shoot well high on a deflection. And so we'll get a draw just outside the Raiders' defensive zone with 2:16 left to play here in the first. Well, it's all push from Papineau so far here in the first period. And we'll see what that means for the Raiders as Papineau wins that faceoff eventually, sends a pass into the slot. Rolling puck sits there, and Papineau scores. Well, Bricker made the first save. Rolling puck came to the other side of the blue paint, and Papineau pots another one. So with just over 2 minutes left to play here in the first, it's Papineau 4, Raiders nothing. Well, ensuing faceoff is going to be Samosi, Vigliotti, Fauci, Aiden, and Steinfink. Puck sits at center ice, eventually won by Fauci back to Aiden. Aiden uses the boards to chip that farther through the neutral zone, and now the Raiders pour in, but it's going to cross the end line before they can get there, and that'll be a Raiders icing. And a defensive zone draw coming up again for the men in white. Same 5 skaters will stay out there for the Raiders as they attempt to win this draw to Bricker's left. It's Fauci winning that over toward the half wall. But Papineau comes away with it. Puck sits in the slot, and then it's dumped in deeper by Papineau, all the way to the far corner now. Papineau has the puck. They await the pass in the slot. It's chipped farther, though, by Aiden and Samosi, and Papineau will have to take over here in their own end so long as we don't have an arm raised. Icing waved off there as Papineau works that puck to the far defensive corner, and now up and out of their zone. They look to pass that past the blue line. Can't quite escape the zone just yet. Vigliotti now, all alone in the offensive zone, tries to work that puck farther. He does. He sends a tight angle shot off a skate. Doesn't reach the net. Papineau now trying to get this puck out of the zone. They do. They've got a man on the weak side. Diagonal pass connects. He dangles around one. Gains the offensive zone, but loses possession as Steinfink's there to cover, and he comes through the neutral zone, does Steinfink. Puck just sits momentarily there as Papineau comes back in. Rolling puck, slapped just wide. That puck had a bit of a swerve on it as it was rolling when it was slapped. Samosi now takes over in front of the scorer's table, tries to come into the offensive zone. Nice poke check there by Papineau, sends the puck right back the other way. It's Papineau in the offensive zone. Papineau at the dot. They throw one in on Bricker. He's able to gobble that up. And so with under a minute left, perhaps, in this first period. Hard to tell. Not sure that clock was ticking, or perhaps there's just 21.8 seconds left instead of 2 minutes and 18 seconds. We'll find out. I'm sure you're on the edge of your seats as to what the clock is doing here in the first period. Defensive zone draw, won by the Raiders, not out of the zone. Comes to the high slot. Shot comes in. Bricker's able to gobble that one up, as it looked like might have been tucked in just on the right post there. So good sight by Bricker to freeze that puck. And this ensuing faceoff is going to come to his right. Puck's dropped there. Shot comes in. Doesn't reach the cage as Gosler guides that farther. And now the puck comes up toward Kalemba. Kalemba on the puck there at the far half wall. Shot comes in. It's sticked aside by Bricker. And Papineau will look to recover at the near half wall. They send that puck in deeper as the clock does continue to tick here. Oh, a pass came into the slot. Couldn't connect. A nice stick lift there by Kalemba. And Papineau will try and reset the play now as they're taken out of the play in that far corner by Gosler. Marchuka all over his man, able to bat that over to Kalemba, and it looks like there's just over 10 seconds left here as the Raiders come through the neutral zone into the offensive zone. It's Kschlewski on the puck. Leaves it for Marchuka. That shot goes wide of the cage, and the puck at the far half wall as the Raiders try and work it farther. 3 seconds now, 2, and the Raiders will just guide this into the defensive zone. So after 1, it's Papineau 4, New York City Raiders 0. Stick around. We're going to do it all over again here in the second period as the Raiders look to make some pushback in that middle frame. We'll be back just after this.
Did you put 6 skaters out there? You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. Son, you want me on this bench. You need me on this bench. We use words like roughing, bar down, holding the stick. We use these words as the backbone of a life we've spent coaching from this bench. You use them as a punchline. I have neither the time nor the inclination to explain myself to a man who watches and enjoys the product I create, only to turn around and mock that same product when I'm not looking. Did you put 6 skaters out there? I did the job. Did you put 6 skaters out there? Gosh darn right I did!
Well, puck drop for period 2 coming up right now. It'll be Marchuka winning that face-off forward, and Papineau takes over in the neutral zone. They didn't gain the line. They'll dump in. Icing waved there as it was a slow roller and didn't cross the end line before Papineau got to it. It's Papineau now trying to gain possession in the offensive zone. Puck comes out to the slot there. It's guided farther by Gossler into the neutral zone. It's Gossler now all over the puck, taken out of the play. No arm up as the Raiders get a shot on goal. It's shrugged aside there by Papineau in the offensive end for the Raiders, and Papineau looks to take over the puck. Instead, it comes to Marchuka. Marchuka on the puck now in the high slot. Comes off his stick. Papineau guides it out of the zone. Gossler now all over the puck there. It's sticked right back into the neutral zone by Tanoff, and it's Meyerowicz one-on-one. Takes the puck just off his stick, does Papineau, and they guide it farther, but looks like it's going to be a penalty on Papineau now for tripping as Meyerowicz was upended there trying to gain the offensive zone. And so the Raiders down 4, but now up a man, and they've got an offensive zone offensive zone draw upcoming here early on in the second period. Now they'll look to get set here, and we'll see what it means for them as they get Petrosinelli, Marchuka, Koshlewski, Gossler, and Samosi out there. It's Samosi now in the near corner, working that puck back to the weak side. Papineau fires in, as does Koshlewski. Papineau there first. They guide that puck back to the far corner, and then they just send that up and out of the zone. That'll be an icing there. Perhaps an unknown rule there for Papineau, as there is icing on the penalty kill, and the coaches getting an explanation of that right now. All smiles at the Papineau bench as it's explained to them that there is icing on the penalty kill once they cross the border. Well, I'm a bit empathetic, of course, to the Papineau bench on the fact that icing is called at the youth level when you're on the penalty kill, despite it not being called at the professional level. But we play on anyway, and so puck now comes up to the near half wall. Papineau trying to get this puck out of their zone. Rolls over toward Koshlewski. Koshlewski guides that farther into the zone. Samosi takes his man out, and immediately a jeer goes up from the Papineau team as Samosi's going to get called for boarding here, it looks like, or perhaps cross-checking. But in any event, it's a delayed call. Papineau goalie will leave the net, and Marchuka will touch up. So it'll be Samosi to the box. Just over 10 minutes left to play here in the second period, as he got a player in the back there, so we'll see what the call is. Well, no gesture coming from the referee. Must have been spoken to the scorekeeper. But the result's the same. It's Samosi to the box, and we've got some 4-on-4 hockey, or it should be 4-on-4 hockey, as the Raiders get one player off the ice here. And it's an offensive zone draw for Papineau. Puck sits at the near dot. Raiders will take over in the defensive zone. It's Figliotti going behind his own cage. works that puck up to the blue line and out. Papineau can't control there, so they'll have to track back to their defensive zone and pick up the puck. It's Papineau now behind their own cage. They work that over to the near side of the defensive zone and then up to their own blue line. Papineau now through the neutral zone. They'll try and chip and chase, and they do into the offensive zone. Papineau now with possession in the offensive zone. A lot of ice out there as the puck comes into the slot. Steinfink finds the puck first, though, and gains the neutral zone. It's Steinfink across the blue line all the way in, and he'll dump as Papineau now with 5 skaters out on the ice. Raiders officially on the the penalty kill. It's Papineau on the puck there in the defensive zone, trying to get that out of the zone as the Raiders only have 4 skaters there. The Raiders happy to kill off some of this penalty in the offensive zone. Papineau working hard to get this puck out of their zone, and they do eventually on the weak side, chipped farther by them, only so far as Tanoff, and the puck now does roll all the way in behind Bricker. Puck sits there at the end boards. Papineau trying to chip this puck out of the zone and then streak toward up to the point and then streak toward the net. But instead, it's the Raiders emerging with the puck. Raiders now have the puck there. They send a shot in high on the Papineau goaltender, and it's gloved down. And so we'll get a stoppage in play when that puck's frozen by the men in blue. It's going to be a offensive zone draw coming up here for the Raiders. They've got 5 skaters on the ice. So it looks like we're back to the full complement for each team as Papineau wins that faceoff, and they get the puck out of their zone. Does Papineau through the neutral zone? They come into the offensive zone. Papineau sends that pass to the slot. Wonderful play there by Aiden to break up the breakaway, or the 2-on-1, I should say. And then Gosser gets that puck, hits a man with the shot, can't quite get it through, and Papineau will again take over in their own end. Papineau now behind their net, trying to send a pass up and out, harassed by Meyerowicz. And the puck's worked all the way around to the near side and then back to the end boards. Papineau playing pitch and catch, can't get it past Aiden, who dumps that puck in. Comes to Petrosinelli, who dumps the puck farther. Now Meyerowicz gives chase in the far corner. Puck sits in the far corner there. A nasty hit avoided by both players as they would have collided, not knowing much about the other. Papineau, though, breaks out through the neutral zone. Rolling puck comes all the way to the end line. Icing waved. Gosler will pick it up behind his own net. Papineau making a change. Gosler on the puck there. Works that puck diagonally up through into, the neutral zone. And Papineau takes over again at their own blue line. Papineau with a little bit of time and space. They work it weak side into the neutral zone. Trying to chip that farther is Papineau. Instead, it finds a Raiders stick in the defensive zone. The Raiders now try and get that puck out of the zone. Puck sits at the near half wall, and it's Gosser on the puck. Ooh, Papineau couldn't bat that one out of air as the puck hits the side of the cage now on the follow-up shot. Gosser chips it off the glass and then into the netting, so no delay of game call coming here against the Raiders, but it is a defensive zone draw coming to Bricker's left. Now it'll be Tanoff, Steinfink, Fauci, Kalemba, and Kushlewski out there for the Raiders to take this draw. Fauci at the dot. Fauci leans over, looking to win this on the backhand over to the half wall. He does. Tanoff fires, picks up the puck at the Zamboni boards, then he's bodied off of it, and Papineau working hard on Kushlewski, try and take over possession. Puck comes up to the blue line. Papineau circling. Laser shot comes in, gobbled up there by Bricker. No rebound coming as 2 Papineau men were circling right in front of the blue paint. And so it'll be another defensive zone draw here for the Raiders with 7:30 left to go in the second period. Papineau with a shot and deflected wide of the cage off a body in front, and now they look to take over again. Rolling puck comes to Kalemba in the near corner. Tries to chip that up and out of the zone, hits a body, and now it rolls in. Bricker tries to stick it aside, and Tanoff gets there first. Works it over to the half wall, not out of the zone just yet as Papineau again pours in, looking for a pass into the slot. Too many bodies in front. Steinfink will take over in the near corner. Well, he gets upended there, and Papineau unable to keep the zone as Fauci works that puck farther. It's Fauci now into the offensive zone. He's got a streaking Kushlewski with him. Tries to feather it over on the backhand. Hits a body, can't quite get it to him in time. Papineau there at the blue line. They clear the zone, but they get it no farther as Kalemba dumps that puck in deeper. Papineau now with the puck at the blue line. Their own, that is. And the misplaced pass they'll have to pick up in their own zone. Papineau at the near half wall trying to work that puck farther. They work it diagonally through the neutral zone. Weak side. It rolls over toward Kushlewski, then Steinfink. Steinfink able to take over that puck and work it up to his own blue line out of the zone. And now he gets help from Kushlewski, who dumps that in, and the Raiders will be able to make a change out of this. It's Papineau taking over the puck in their own zone. They've got plenty of ice in front of them as they try and work it up through the neutral zone. That puck's going to go all the way across the end line. Should be an icing. It is. And so with over 6 minutes left to play here in the middle frame, it's going to be an offensive zone draw upcoming for the Raiders. Looks like they'll be able to complete their line change on that Papineau icing. So it'll be Samosi, Marchuka, Gosler, Vigliotti, and Aiden out there as the 5 skaters in white. Marchuka at the far dot. Is able to work that puck over toward Vigliotti. Gets handcuffed a little bit, though, and Papineau breaks out the other way. It's Papineau, not with a mini break, but they do have a player streaking into the slot. Can't connect there as Gosler upends his man right in front of the cage. And now Papineau still with possession in the offensive zone. They go around Bricker there. A nice pass in front, and Papineau scores on that. It's Papineau 5, the Raiders 0 here in the middle frame. Well, it'll be Marchuka. That's center ice. Oh, wait, looks like a late line change here from the Raiders, as is their ability, given that they're the home team. They should get the last change. They do. So now it'll be Petrosinelli, Meyerowicz, Koslewski out there, Steinfink, and Tanoff. Puck comes over towards Steinfink. Tries to guide it farther. Hits a skate off a Papineau player. Papineau will take over here in the neutral zone and dump in. It's Papineau dumping in. Bricker out of the cage to settle that puck for Steinfink. And Papineau takes over momentarily. Papineau behind the cage. Now looking for a pass into the high slot. They find it there. Shot comes in. A nice kick save there by Bricker. Ensuing shot. He's able to gobble up. Rebound still loose. Raiders able to guide that up and out of the blue paint eventually, but no farther than the far circle as Papineau again looks for a pass into the slot. It hits a body, goes wide. Papineau now trying to get that puck into the back of the net, but the Raiders able to cover up. Some good work there by Jason Bricker in this second period. Keeps this a 5-0 game. Defensive zone draw upcoming here for the Raiders. Now it'll be Petrosinelli, Steinfink, Koslewski, Meyerowicz, and Hanoff out there as the 5 skaters for the Raiders. Bricker gets a sip of water, and we're ready to play. Papineau wins that faceoff up to the far point. Tries to dump it in deeper. Petrosinelli tries to chop the puck farther. Instead, Papineau gets there, and a little tight here, the rinks, so occasionally you'll hear an errant whistle that's not for this rink, and it seems to be fouling the players up here or there as Tanoff eliminates his man from the play. Papineau still in the zone. Shot comes in. Bricker's able to chest that down into the glove and freeze it. No rebound coming. So, with 4:21 left to play here in the second period, another defensive zone draw upcoming for the Raiders. But those errant whistles definitely distracting some of the players. As you saw the Papineau player stop with the puck near the Zamboni wall on that last sequence, thinking that the play had been blown dead. Well, face-off, one there by Papineau. Shot hit a body, and they will take over possession here in the near corner. Rubbed off by Aiden. Comes to a different Papineau player who cycles the puck back at the end boards. Pass comes into the slot. It's Papineau there. Can't pull the trigger. A nice stick lift by Vigliotti, and then Bricker does make the ensuing save. Papineau will have to take over in the near corner. Papineau to the near point. They just rack that farther into the zone. At the near circle, they go high on Bricker. He's able to chest that aside. And the Raiders look to take over at the far half wall. Can't get that puck out of the zone just yet. Comes to a Raiders player. We get a whistle. Looks like we're going to get an interference call here. And given his reaction, it'll be Aiden going to the box. Well, with 4:15 left to go in this second period, Aiden to the box for interference. It's Papineau 5, Raiders nothing here. Defensive zone draw coming up for the Raiders. It'll be Marchuka, Tanoff, Samosi, and Gosler as the penalty killers for the team from New York. Raiders try and work that puck out of the zone. A bouncing puck does cross the blue line. Papineau will have to reset here in their own end. Papineau on the puck there. They're going to skate this out of the zone as they build up the power play. No drop pass yet. There it is now as they break out through the neutral zone. Cross the blue line with some speed, but gummed up by Tanoff. Papineau able to keep the zone momentarily until Tanoff finds some open ice. Finds Marchuka then at the offensive blue line. It's Marchuka into the zone, trying to dangle his man. Puck rolls all the way to the far corner. Papineau again looks to take over in their own zone. They do there with some speed now in the defensive zone. Papineau through the neutral zone into the offensive zone. Papineau on the puck all the way into the near corner. Finally rolls off a stick. Harassed there by Tanoff. Puck sits there momentarily, all the way up to the near point and out of the zone. Hard work there by Samosi. Gets that puck out of the zone on the penalty kill. Marchuka now works that puck farther into the offensive zone to try and kill off more of this penalty. Puck rolls on him all the way to the far corner. He tries to work that up towards Samosi, who gets it and dumps it in deeper. Marchuka now on the puck, works that puck just a bit deeper. Takes a heavy hit, though. Slow to get up at the far offensive half wall. He does get up. He's skating off the ice. Papineau plays on. They're in the offensive zone is Papineau. They leave the puck at the far circle, and it sits at the far half wall until Papineau curls with it. Tries to pull the trigger. Hits a body in front. Comes up to the near point. Shot comes in. Bricker's able to glove that down and freeze it with, looks like 2:30 or so left to go here in the second period. It's going to be a defensive zone draw for the Raiders to Bricker's right. It'll be Koslewski, Steinfink, Meyerowicz, Aiden, and Petrosinelli on this draw. Puck's dropped. One back by Papineau. They try and pull the trigger. Instead, they blow it higher, so they work it in deeper. It eventually comes over toward Aiden, who finds Koslewski to leave the zone. Comes back to Aiden. They do get the puck out of the zone, do the Raiders. Puck now comes up to Petrosinelli, but Papineau will take over in their defensive end. Papineau goes point to point there. Now they work it up toward the weak side. Cut out by Steinfink momentarily, but now Papineau with speed into the offensive zone. It's Papineau trying to go around. They do. They try and curl around Bricker. They get 1, 2, 3 shots at it, and Papineau scores. Well, Bricker was able to stick it aside in the blue paint there after Steinfink had sticked it aside once, but on the third bite, Papineau able to put it past, and they increase their lead here in the middle frame. It's Papineau 6, Raiders nothing. Well, ensuing faceoffs going to be Fauci, Vigliotti, Samosi, Gosler, and Tanoff. Fauci at the dot there. Papineau wins that faceoff. They pour through the neutral zone and look to pour it on here late in the second period. Puck now in the defensive zone of the Raiders, and they're able to feather that up and out on the stick of Tanoff. Samosi on the forecheck. He's got Fauci with him. Papineau can't get that past Fauci, and Fauci pours in the offensive zone. Tries to leave it in the high slot, just a bit behind Vigliotti, and Papineau will emerge with it. It's Papineau all the way into the offensive zone. Again, sticked aside by Tanoff. Samosi now in for support right in front of the camera well here as 5 players jostle for it. Vigliotti all over his man, trying to separate him from the puck as the players still jostling. Raiders emerge with it. Fauci tries to work it past the blue line. Papineau able to keep the zone momentarily. Now Tanoff is able to shepherd it across the blue line. Papineau will go point to point at center ice. Papineau now at their own blue line. They'll go point to point again. Try and work this puck up through the neutral zone. Samosi there in the way momentarily. As Papineau tries to work that farther. Instead, Samosi emerges with it momentarily until Papineau gets it back. Looks like, though, we're going to get a call here as it looks like the Raiders to the box as that door opens for the team in white. So it's going to be a defensive zone draw upcoming. And the clock is running here. Not sure I've seen a clock run in the second period before, but the clock is running right now. And so it'll be Marchuka to try and win that faceoff. Papineau comes away with it. They're behind the cage now as Papineau with possession. Papineau looking for a pass to the slot. Now evaluating their options is Papineau. They'll cycle it deeper as the clock continues to tick. Shot comes in, hits the post. Oh, a rolling puck there off the leg pad. Bricker will hop back up here as nearly at the death there of the second period. Papineau hits the post, unable to pot it though. And so after 2, it's Papineau 6, Raiders nothing. Stick around, we'll do it all over again for the third period in just a minute.
Hey there, hockey fans. Rowdy Howdy. You may know me from Rowdy Howdy's Automobiles. It's got cars, it's got trucks, it's got suits. Come on down. Due to a recent class action settlement, we're more honest than ever about our cars.
So now, instead of heated seats, we'll let you know there may have been a little bit of fire damage. Or, in addition to telling you that the cars have aged like a fine wine.
Oops, sorry about that, folks. We'll give that one more shot.
Hey there, hockey fans. Rowdy Howdy. You may know me from Rowdy Howdy's Automobiles. It's got cars, it's got trucks, it's got suits. Come on down. Due to a recent class action settlement, we're more honest than ever about our cars.
So now, instead of heated seats, we'll let you know there may have been a little bit of fire damage. Or, in addition to telling you that the cars have aged like a fine wine, we'll let you know that some may have slight paint damage. It's Rowdy Howdy Automobiles, a name that is synonymous with honesty, transparency, and court-ordered settlements. 1234 Fake Ad Boulevard, just off the interstate. Rowdy Howdy!
Well, there we go. I get the broadcaster money in. Just a reminder, another game here for Raiders on Midnight Sports tonight at 7:40 p.m. when they will take on the Salisbury Redhawks. In what, based on the standings points, looks to be perhaps a more competitive match. But who knows? 15 minutes still on the board here. Raiders looking for some push here in the third period. Plenty of time to try and get back in this one. Papineau fires into the offensive zone. Has the puck there. They come up to the far point. Shot comes in, goes wide of the cage as Papineau takes over on the power play here at the near half wall. They work that puck in deeper. And the puck now looking for a pass into the slot. Can't connect, so Marchuka takes over, and he works that puck up and out of the zone. Rolling puck now comes all the way in to the defensive zone of Papineau. They work it right back up strong side, trying to chip it farther, but the puck instead sits at the near point, and it's guided in deeper by Marchuka. Samosi now on the forecheck. Looks like the penalty's just about coming to an end on the Raiders, so we should have 5-on-5 skating. We do now, as Papineau looks to get this puck up across the blue line. They do. Papineau into the offensive zone. They try and go high on Bricker. They miss the net. Now at the near half wall, the far half wall, it's fired wide of the cage again. Comes up to the near point. Near half wall down to the near corner, right back up to the near point. Papineau working the puck in the offensive zone, making several passes now before pulling the trigger in the offensive zone. Puck comes on all the way over to the far corner. Now the far point sits there, worked into the high slot. Papineau looks to pull the trigger here. They go high over the cage. They miss it entirely, and Samosi now, off a pass from Gossler and Tanoff, will emerge. And Marchuka into the offensive zone. Shot comes in, blocker to side there by the Papineau goaltender. Papineau will take over once again. They break out of the zone. It's chipped farther in the neutral zone by Papineau, and now they try and work that puck deeper at the far half wall. Aiden all over his man. Stops the play from going farther until it's kicked in deeper. Papineau looks at the far circle to work that over to the slot. Papineau tries to go 5-hole, rolling puck. They can't tuck it in. The Raiders live to fight another day on that as they guide that puck all the way into the offensive end. Icing wave there as we play on. Puck racked around, hits the Zamboni doors, takes a weird carom out to the far circle. Papineau will emerge from the defensive zone with it. They come weak side, but they can't get past Aiden, who watched that puck all the way. Had he not made that play, it would have been a breakaway for Papineau. Fauci now in the zone, tucks that puck farther. It sits in the wheel well of the Zamboni doors, but Papineau will again emerge with it. Papineau into the neutral zone. They pass it off the boards, but it looks like that will be an icing. It is. They hadn't gained the line on that self-pass. And so, it'll be an icing there. But the clock continues to run, given the score line. And so, Papineau, just from a strategy perspective, more than happy to take their time here. Bigliotti at the far offensive dot. Wins that faceoff up to Tanoff. Slapper comes in, hits a body, and then it's covered by the Papineau goaltender as it rolls in. And so we'll do it all over again in the offensive zone here for the Raiders, with about 9 minutes left to go here in the third period. It's Bigliotti at the far dot now. Wins that forward again. Papineau will emerge with it behind their own net. Koslewski in on the forecheck. Papineau chips that up and out of the zone. They'll try and get this puck before it hits the end line. They don't, so another icing. And in real time, another 45 seconds or so off the board, as we'll do it all over again in the offensive zone of the Raiders, this time from the near dot. It's Bigliotti, Koslewski, Kalemba, Gossler, and Tanoff out there. Bigliotti on the puck, wins that face-off forward. Papineau looks to emerge with it. They go weak side. Puck sits at the blue line. It's chipped farther. Gossler stops his man momentarily, and then it is chipped right into the offensive zone for Papineau. Papineau at the end boards, try and throw something in front of the blue paint. Instead, Bigliotti there to cut out the threat. He finds Koslewski, who returns the favor toward Bigliotti. Can't quite get the puck out of his skates, though, and he'll need to get back on side. He does. Papineau takes over in their defensive zone. Papineau with the puck there. They work it up the weak side over toward Gossler, and then they chip it And a rolling puck does eventually find Gosler. Gosler now back into the offensive zone. He's bodied by his man there, and Papineau will throw that off the far half wall, but not out. Kalemba trying to throw something in front. Nobody home. Papineau safely guides that out of the zone, and now Tanoff will turn to pick up this puck in his own end. Puck comes all the way to Tanoff there at the end boards. Tanoff looks up, thinks about a pass instead, skates it himself. He's in the neutral zone as Tanoff. Puck hits a divot on the ice, rolls on him, so he just has to dump it in, and Papineau will take over and try and jam this out of their end. They do. They find Aiden, though, in the neutral zone. Aiden tries to feather that puck back. Instead, Papineau takes over, and they gain the offensive zone. Rolling puck there off a stick, and the Raiders will emerge. Well, the puck will emerge from the Raiders zone, at least. The Raiders without possession. Papineau will take over at their own blue line. Threaded pass comes up for Papineau. They'll dump right into the offensive zone. Aiden will turn and try and pick up the puck. It's Aiden on the puck there. He's bodied there as he tries to clear the zone. Papineau's able to keep the zone. It's Samosi now on the puck at the near half wall. Samosi all over the puck. He's got it through the neutral zone, does Samosi. He's got 3 Papineau players around him. He tries to go around. Long stick there. He's able to send that in on net, and it's covered and frozen. And so it'll be an offensive zone draw upcoming here for the Raiders with just over 6 minutes left to play in the third period. Clock running. It'll be Petro Sinelli, it looks like, at the near dot. Fauci and Aiden, as well as Steinfink and Samosi out there. Samosi sends one just wide of the cage. Fauci looks to pick up on the far side of the ice. Fauci looking to dump that puck in deeper. Papineau chips it farther, not past Aiden just yet. Aiden twirling, able to backhand that deeper in the zone until it finds a Papineau stick, and now they'll take over in the neutral zone. It's a 3-on-3 developing for Papineau. Papineau curls around. They're in on Bricker. They go 5-hole. They score before the Papineau player was also deposited in the back of the net. And so that's Papineau 7. Raiders nothing here. Over halfway through the third period. Well, ensuing faceoff looks to be Meyerowicz, Marchuka, Koshlewski, Gosler, and Tanoff. Raiders looking for a little push here to take some momentum into their game this evening against the Redhawks. A game we hope you'll join us for right here on Midnight Sports, 7:40 p.m. Eastern tonight. Papineau wins that faceoff. They work it up through the neutral zone. Into the slot comes Papineau. They shoot, and Bricker able to shut down that shot. He was all alone against that shot. He made a nice save and then sticks aside the rebound. It's Papineau again into the slot. They shoot, they score there. Papineau again in the low slot, able to pot that. And so now the neighbors have 8 and the Raiders have none here in the third period as the clock continues to tick. Looks to be just over 5 minutes left to play here in the final frame. It'll be Marchuka, Koshlewski, Meyerowicz, Tanoff, and Gosler. And there's Marchuka, wins that faceoff forward. As Papineau sends that all the way down the ice, but we'll get an icing as it wasn't touched as it crossed the end line. So it's going to be an offensive zone draw upcoming here for the Raiders. It'll be Marchuka at the near dot. He's got Koshlewski and Meyerowicz with him. Gosler and Tanoff out there as well. Marchuka at the near dot. He's able to tie up his man and then work the puck farther. Marchuka still driving out there despite the score line. But Papineau emerges into the offensive end with it. Papineau a 3-on-1 developing. They're in the slot. They shoot. They score. Well, Papineau with a 9-goal lead here. Over 4 minutes left to play in the final period. And it'll be Vigliotti, Fauci, Kalemba, Steinfink, and Aiden out there. And Papineau wins that faceoff, and they come into the offensive zone. They go forward to forward there, but they're bodied by Steinfink, who loses his skates and runs into the boards, but he's up and skating. Now Kalemba rubbed off the puck there in the neutral zone. Papineau looks to take over in their own end. Puck rolls all the way to the Zamboni doors. It's shoveled farther by Papineau in the defensive end. Fauci all over his man to try and keep the zone. Puck rolls on him. Papineau emerges. It's 3-on-2. Now a 3-on-3 as Vigliotti's gotten back. Puck rolls through the slot. Fauci finds it. He guides it up to the blue line. Not out just yet as Papineau dumps right back in. And the puck sits there at the end boards as Papineau dances around trying to get that puck up to the near point. Papineau happy to kill off as much of this game as they can at this point. 3.5 minutes left to play. Papineau on the puck, tucks it off the back of the cage, and the Raiders try and emerge with it. Instead, it's Papineau with possession. They shoot. Bricker makes a save. Now ensuing shot. Blockered aside there by Bricker. Steinfink will take over at the far corner. It's Steinfink nearly upended with a stick there. No call coming. Probably best for the Raiders anyway, given that it would be a stoppage in play as the clock would continue to tick. Raiders dump in and give chase. Kalemba on the puck in the far corner. Papineau looks to emerge with it. Can't get past Fauci at first. And now the puck's chipped up toward Vigliotti. No call coming, though, for offside. And Papineau looks to emerge with the puck in their own end. They do. Through the neutral zone comes Papineau, and they'll gain the line and dump in as Aiden and Gosser will turn to pick up the puck. It's Gosser in the far corner. He's got two Papineau men all over him. Aiden now fires in as Papineau tries to work the puck at the far circle around. They shoot, and Bricker makes a save. Rolling puck still loose, comes out to Samosi. Samosi emerges from the zone. He's all alone in the neutral zone. Now he gains the offensive zone. Samosi pushed farther by his man, but he rounds him, and now rounds the cage. He finds Marchuka at the far circle. Puck comes into the slot. Nobody home there. Papineau able to escape the zone. Papineau through the neutral zone. It's a 1-on-3 right now for them. As the puck rolls to the end boards, as Gosser able to work his man over and take the puck off him. Rolling puck comes to the far circle. Meyerowicz dangles his man. Oh, my. Across the blue line, Meyerowicz able to get that puck out of the zone. Now the Raiders breaking the offensive zone. It's Marchuka. He's got the puck at the near circle. He shoots one in, and after taking a deflection, goalie makes a nice save there for Papineau. Papineau works that puck up to the near point. Gosser dumps it in farther. 1:39 left to play here in the third period. And Papineau tries to work that puck out of the zone. It's Samosi keeping that puck in the zone. He finds Marchuka at the end boards. Marchuka curls around the net with that puck, and now in the far corner. Marchuka rubbed out of the play. Samosi activates. Works that toward Marchuka. Hits a Papineau stick, though, and they'll emerge with it out of their zone. Papineau on the puck. Through the neutral zone comes Papineau. They'll gain the blue line and just dump in. Bricker comes out of his cage to try and settle the puck. It rolls all the way over toward Tanoff. Papineau able to keep possession, though, in the offensive zone. Puck comes into the slot. Gosser there first. It's on the backhand. He chips that up to the blue line, and now it's chipped out farther by Marchuka. Papineau on the puck again in the neutral zone. They gain the offensive zone. Drop pass there in the high slot. Return pass can't connect. Papineau will have to pick up possession again. We're under a minute left to play here in this one, as Marchuka tries to chip that puck out of the zone. He chips it farther, not out of the zone just yet. Papineau takes over, looking for a one-timer at the near circle. Shot comes in, and Papineau scores. Well, Papineau scores here late in the third period. And with a half a minute on a running clock left to play, the Raiders will need to shake this one off in time for tonight's game. It's Steinfink now on the puck. Works it farther through the neutral zone. Just 12 seconds left to go here as Petrosinelli takes over and works that up toward Koshlewski. Koshlewski now on the puck in the neutral zone. He's got 5 Papineau men around him as he looks to dump it in deeper. Papineau now works the puck over to the weak side, and there goes the buzzer. Well, that's all she wrote in this one. Can't thank you enough for joining us here in Marlborough, Massachusetts. Tune in again tonight at 7:40 as the Raiders take on the Redhawks. We will see you then, but until then, stay safe. Thanks so much.